So I was watching something else. Red Letter Media put their review of the first 5 Friday the 13th. One of the guys, I know Jay, I don't know the other guy's name, I'm sorry. He called Betsy Palmer Phyllis Diller. It made me think, what if Phyllis Diller was Mrs. Voorhees? Going around, I'm gonna kill you. Her little laugh. I don't know. I don't even know Phyllis Diller from Scooby-Doo, so. But, yeah. So, hello there, I'm Scotty. You're not, and it's time for my revisited review of Disturbia. I reviewed this back in the day, a few years ago. And I said, I wanted to revisit this, and then I was going to do Rear Window anyways. I'm like, okay, let's do this one too. And, going back, it's still a good movie. It's still a good movie. I remember I went to the theater to see this with my sister. And my brother was there too, maybe? I don't know. Maybe the 3 siblings went together. I don't know. But this was back 2007, right? Back when Shia LaBeouf was the bomb, right? He was done with Even Stevens. He was going on to do movies. He did Transformers. And he did this. And then 2 more Transformers. And he was Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which upon my recent rewatch, my review, that's like a couple years ago now. But it wasn't that bad. CGI is shit. But I never thought that Shia LaBeouf was a bad part. Yes, they shouldn't have teased him or in the hat, but I think that was just a joke. Like, oh, he's going to put it on, people are going to get mad. Look, he took it. But I've always liked Shia LaBeouf. Even now, he's become a meme for me. Like, sometimes I want someone to do something to go, just do it! And I think he's married to or dating Mia Goth. Pearl. I didn't care for that movie, but this is I want to say throwback because it's not that old. It's not 20 years old yet. We're getting there. It's like 14, right? What is it, 2023? It's 14. Hold on. Okay, so 2023 is up here. I'll just do this. 2007. I wish I had my other phone. I don't know how to do it. 7. Okay, hold on. Let's do it this way. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's 10. 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 23. That's 16 years. What? I'm trying again. Okay. So, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. That's 16 years. Really? Yeah, with 4 years left. Okay, yeah, it is 16. I don't know why my math said it was 13. I was 14. I was thinking of a 3 and a 7. That'd be going to 2027. It's 2020. Whatever. No, we go. I don't know. But yeah, 16 years. Little man. It means we got 4 more years to go until close to 3. But yeah, I went to see this in the theater. Thought it was good. And then I bought the DVD when it came out. And it's one of those movies that I wanted to get on Blu-ray. The DVD I had, the case got smooshed. So, wasn't the best. DVD still worked somewhat, I think. I don't know. I think maybe in the final act it froze up here. Everything looks beautiful. It fits the entire screen. I'm always going to compliment when a Blu-ray does what it should and fits the entire screen. I hate it when you release a movie on Blu-ray. Oh, it's in HD, but it's in widescreen. And there's still those bars on it. To me, it doesn't do shit if the bars are still on the screen. I've said it before. It does nothing. It looks the same. There's no reason to do it. And I've complained about doing stuff in 4.3, but I understand some of the older stuff, some of the older TV shows. They can't do that because the original thing. But if you can take a movie, like some of these are taking original camera negatives, which would have been in 4.3, right? Some of these are taking original cuts from VHS. They were in 4.3 and cropping them to fit. So in my estimation, TV shows that come out in 4.3 on Blu-ray and don't crop them to fit the entire screen is just laziness. They could do it, but they don't. I'm just saying. Anyway, the story here is kind of similar to Rear Window, but Kale is our main character, which is not a name. I'm sorry, that's a vegetable. Kale, it's a leaf. It's not a name. But after his father's death, he gets in some trouble at school by punching his teacher, and in my opinion, unrightfully gets in trouble for it. Like, he should get in trouble for it, but like, he gets house arrest. I'll explain the whole situation because the teacher had it coming. Teacher had this coming. He deserved it. Anyway, and so while he's on house arrest, he starts to suspect that one of his neighbors may be a serial killer, all while finding a teenage romance. So I like this first scene. Okay, it's fishing. It's the guy. It's another one of those actors that you've seen in things, but you don't know his name. Like, he's been in like a G.I. Joe movie. He's been in Timeline. He's been in movies, but he plays the dad here, and they're on a fishing trip. And on the way back, and okay, so this is the first thing I kind of went with, because they're on the phone while driving, which is you're not supposed to do that, but Kale has the phone and he hands it to his dad, so that's okay. And then as they're driving, car moves out of the way, and there's a car just sitting there, and then he swerves to get out of the way, and they get in a car accident. And then their car flips upside down, and they're trying to figure out, they haven't really figure out what the situation is. Like, that Kale, and then all of a sudden the dad looks and goes, Kale, and this car comes, this truck or car, whatever, just smooshes his side, killing him. Okay, back to truck. Let's deconstruct this scene for a minute. They're driving, right? Car swerves out of the way. He hits this car. Why is this car just sitting in the middle of the road? We don't get an explanation for that. It's just sitting there. 2, there is no way to avoid that. If you were driving behind a car and this car in front of you turns, you don't have enough time to go, oh shit, and see that it's there because it happened so quick. So they're going to hit that car. It was just sitting there. Now, the car flips upside down. This truck comes barreling through. Why didn't the truck stop? I mean, come on. That thing was down the road. It would have seen it and stopped. His death has to happen, so it's the catalyst for why he gets, sorry, I got an itch, hold on. He gets under house arrest. Okay, so title comes up, Disturbia, which this opening really has nothing to do with that, other than it sets the catalyst. And we're in school, we're getting ready for summer vacation, and Ronnie, who's a character, you watch this, you see Ronnie, and you're like, watch it for the first time, and okay, this guy's stupid. But he's actually a character in the movie. He's not just a random person. He comes back. So he discovers that the Spanish word for perhaps sounds a lot like kiss ass. He's a kisasa. But it sounds like kiss ass, so he keeps saying it. And then he calls the teacher, who is already a dick because of this. He was kind of smarmy in Spanish. He asked Kale to come up. Now, Kale has clearly been going through shit. Now, it's a couple months past, but till his dad died. He's been going through shit. And people have just been acting like he doesn't care. If someone in your family died, would you be able to move on that quickly? I don't think so. This teacher is totally out of line. He flips out on him. And is like, oh, you've been disobeying your study. You've been ignoring your studies and falling asleep in class. And then he says this, which gets him rightfully punched in the face. What would your father think? You knew what you were fucking saying, okay? You knew what you were saying. You used this kid, he's supposed to be 17, this kid's trauma against him, and you got hit for it. You got what you fucking deserve, you asshole. You got what you deserved. Well, no, charges are pressed, and he's put under house arrest because he's underage. Can they still prosecute you as an adult if you're 17? Especially how close his birthday is. Like, if it's only 2 months away, like, oh, well, go ahead and do it. Right? But they never say when his birthday is. Anyway. So he's put under house arrest. And this officer that's there with Viola Davis's character. By the way, his mom is Carrie Ann Moss. This officer, we find out this officer is his teacher's cousin. Red flag. Red flag. No, this guy should not be anywhere near this. Nowhere near this. And yet, he's constantly being allowed to show up. And towards the end of the film, before the climax takes place, it is revealed to us. I didn't catch it till this time. But if I caught it last time, then I did and I forgot. But I didn't catch it till this time, at least that I can remember, that they said he flew to Coop again. Do you still want first dibs? And I heard that this time, and I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Not only are they allowing this guy to answer this, it's a conflict of interest. Cale even calls the lady later after he's arrested. Again, we'll get to that for the second time. He's like, it was a conflict of interest, so he was just doing his job. No. And the fact that every time that the thing goes off, it's this cop. Come on. One time is a thing, but the next time that it happened, you should have called him and be like, hey, is the same cop asked for it? And she should dig into the thing. He keeps asking for first dibs. Whenever he's been told that whenever it happens, they have to call him first, because that's bullshit. And it doesn't even go anywhere interesting. That's the one thing about this that I don't like. I didn't realize this time. It doesn't go anywhere interesting. We'll get to it. So, he's under house arrest now, and look, this is just... He gets punished like he's a criminal. But here's the thing, I said this. He was in the right. He was in the right to punch that dick. He didn't punch the dick, but you know what I mean. He was in the right to punch him. The words that he said, the way he was treating him. I know, people are saying, well, stop pitying yourself, move on. But it's only been a couple months. It's only been a couple months. And he's expected to just move on and everything, right? No, he's, So he's treated like a prisoner in his own house now. Like, he's under house arrest, but, she cancels his Xbox Live, which I didn't have Xbox in 2007, so I couldn't tell you for sure what it looked like, but that was kind of a different screen. Even for Xbox 360, I had Xbox 360 later on, but at that point. And she cancels his iTunes, which, come on. And then she does the unthinkable here. Like, first of all, he should have kept his damn mouth shut, but he's in there, he's watching the news. There was, scantily clad women, but then he changed it to news when she comes in, and she's like, I'm not with the maid service, and he's like, you need to stop, moving around, and she unplugs the TV. He's like, that's not a little dramatic. And she thinks, I just plug it back in. She's like, oh, you want dramatic? And she snips the cord. Now, I don't know how it would work, but like, if he bought that TV, then you owe him money because it's his. He bought it, right? Yeah, this is also a catalyst. He's got no TV, he's got no music, no nothing. So now he just has to kind of slinker around the house. This leads him to spying on his neighbors. And this also leads to another issue. So he hears the doorbell ring and he goes to answer it. There's a flaming bag on his porch. You think Kale would be smart to know what that is, but he stomps it out. Of course, it's a flaming bag of dog shit. And, in an angry rage, he chases after these kids, these little shits that do that, not thinking until he hears one of them say, "I thought he couldn't leave his house." And now the lady, Viola Davis's character, explained that if he was to leave the thing, he has a few seconds to get it to turn green. He runs back, gets it to turn green, and the cops still show up. I feel like we had enough time to get back. But of course, it's the same cop. And he's trying to explain to him that there was kids, bag of shit, on the porch, stomped it out, he chased after him. It's easy to explain that it was angry rage and just slipped his mind. Like, you get angry, you don't think, right? But of course not. This guy is biased because it was his cousin. And again, they shouldn't, this guy, in a real world, this guy would not be allowed to be anywhere near this case. It's too personal. He would not be allowed. It's a conflict of interest. But, movie, right? So they say, oh, it's just everyone has a first-time offense. He didn't get arrested. Although he does handcuff him. And I feel like that's unnecessary. He should just walk, hey, get back in the house. We'll talk about this, And again, there's evidence everywhere. He's got shit on his socks. There's a bag of dog shit and dog shit all over the place. So it happened, but of course he's not going to listen. But before this happens, he notices that there's new neighbors moving in with a teenage daughter, Ashley, played by Sarah Roma. Shortly after this, we meet Ronnie. Again, Ronnie comes back into the movie. He's played by Aaron Yu, I think is the actor's name. I'm just going to go and make sure. He was also on Friday the 13th remake. He's not on the back of the case, but I'm pretty sure that's who it is. So, he starts introducing Ronnie to what he does. Looking around a thing, we see that these little shits that put the shit on his thing, they're on his porch. They're watching adult films, which I'll talk about when we get to the end, because I have an issue even with how that's handled. Not how it's handled, but I'll get to it. So, Ronnie, he shows Ronnie when Ashley goes swimming. And so he's watching with the binoculars, and he hits the window, and they duck down like she heard it. And he's like, I don't think she heard that. You think you heard it? My grandma could have heard it all the way down from. I'm like, no, nobody heard that. No one would actually hear that. I guarantee if my neighbor is over in their pool, and okay, so from here, I have a hotel, and there's a patio about the same distance, I think, that Ashley's house was from Kale's window. If I knocked on the window, they're not going to hear it. If they're outside, and I pound, and I just kind of knocked on the window once like he does with the thing, they're not going to hear it. Guaranteed, they're not going to hear it. So, in the real world, real life, she would not hear that. But of course, movie, she has to hear it. So she comes over, and they kind of, start playing detective, I guess. Well, they start looking, like Kale, is it here that he does it? Because he says Robert Turner, he just keeps walking. I don't think there's anything yet. No, they do sort of play detective. They see Robert Turner, which is played by David Morse. He's our suspect. With this redheaded woman. And they have mentioned, because Kale does see a car. There's a news story where there's a blue car from Texas, damage in it. There's some damage to it. And he sees it from his neighbor's house. Ironically, right after he saw it on the news, so heard about it on the news. But yeah, so he and Carly get close, And so at one point, I think I'm missing some stuff, but it's okay. At one point, she changes Ronnie's. This is important. Changes Ronnie's ringtone to "Huh, me so horny, huh, me so horny." And you might think, well, that's stupid, but no, it is important because of stuff that happens later. So, just got to some stuff here. There's a thing with a party. She's having a party, and he thinks that she's conforming. That doesn't really matter because it doesn't really add anything other than while they're distracted and making out, Turner is doing some shit. And they think that, they see blood. And, okay, so here's the scene. Let's go back a little bit. With the red-headed club girl. He gives her this new dress, whatever thing. They hear screaming, and that's how you know she's walking out. Like we can get that maybe Turner heard them because apparently you can hear noise from a mile away here in this world, or notice them, and he let her go. But we found out later that the club girl was killed and put in a house. So did he do that so that they see her leave? But then how was he able to... It's confusing. How did he get the club girl back? That's what I want to know. I don't know. I know that Ashley's parents are kind of mean to her. Her dad comes in and starts yelling at her. For what? I don't understand why, but... So I sit on the roof. That's very dangerous, but So, fast forward a little bit. So, Turner leaves the house and goes to the hardware store, which Sarah, that's her, Ashley, follows. And so, Kale sends Ronnie in, capable Ronnie, in to find the blue bag that they found, that they saw with blood on it. And when they go in there, when he goes in there, he sees it, but he's not able to do much before the garage door closes. And he's stuck inside. And at this point, Turner has come back. He confronts Ashley in her car, and he kind of strokes her face. And 17. Come on. 17. But he's like, I know, some other crush, I just want my privacy, and then, so Kale freaks out and thinks Ronnie's in danger. He, once again, violates the restrictions and runs in there. I like how he does set up this whole thing in his front yard so he knows where he can go and can't go, he has his issues, so, sets up stuff. But he runs over because he thinks Ronnie is, we don't even see him come home, but... Oh, no. That's a different time. Hold on. Because Ronnie gets out of there. It's later because Ronnie dropped his phone in Turner's car, which I'm pretty sure that Turner knew about. He sets him up. And so that's when this happens. And, so Kale runs over there thinking Ronnie's in trouble. And he comes over, he finds the house door is open. But the cops show up, and of course it's the same fucking cop, because of course. And so Turner just comes off, what's going on? You know what's going on? My friend's in there. I get that look on his face, like, what friend? I don't know what friend. And so he's like, then he throws out, he's got a blue bag with a body in it, with blood all over it. And so they check it, and it's a deer. Now, I'm inclined to think it was a deer the entire time, but you never know. He could have swapped it out. He could have killed the deer, chopped it up, and put it in a bag, and hid the, whatever. But the one thing that I have an issue with in this scene, they take him away, right? And Kaylin says, what about my friend? What about my friend? And even the cops say there's something not right here. But they take him away. And they say he's got to appear before a judge the next day. No, what about his friend? Right? Now, Cale says his friend was in Turner's house. They're just ignoring the fact that, as of this point, Ronnie is missing. What happens next, though, is a big... So Cale goes back to his room. His mom decides to go over and talk to Turner. That's fucking stupid. Your son is saying that he could be possibly a murderer. Whether you believe him or not, I'm not going to test that. I'm going to keep a 50-50 mind on the situation and be like, you know what? I'm not trusting my son right now, but I don't know this guy. I mean, he does show up later. He just, like, if his mom actually used her fucking brain, like, oh, wait, this guy just so happened to be there when my car had a flat tire. Magically, he was there to help me. She doesn't put two and two together, this whole situation. And then again, Cale doesn't try to get her to think about that either. But she goes over to talk to him, and he's it's a text from Ronnie's phone saying, look at the TV. And the TV has the footage, or not footage, has Ronnie stuffed somewhere, and realizes that he sees the big Twinkie Eiffel Tower thing he made that's his closet. He finds Ronnie, but it's a joke. Ronnie's fine. The door was open because Ronnie ran through the house and got out. I'm pretty sure Turner let him out because, you know, there was no... He knew the cops were probably on the way, so... But, yeah. And then he shows... He's like, hey, I got all this footage. Shows him the footage, and Cale sees there's a part where Ronnie fell, and the camera gets a close-up of this grate, and he sees the club girl's body in there. So he realizes something's going on. Meanwhile, while he's not paying attention, Turner knocks out Cale's mom. And Cale tries to yell down to Ronnie, but he gets knocked out because Turner is magically there now. Now we find out that Turner put Cale's mom in the basement of his house in a secret room. How the hell was he able to get all the way down there, put her in a secret room, come back up, close it up, go over to Cale's house, and knock Ronnie out in the time it took Cale to look at the footage? Because when he goes to look at the footage, that's when he knocks her out. So he's looking at the footage, notices it, and then yells down to Ronnie. He's able to go that fast. That's too fast. He's not fucking Superman. Okay, how did he get over that fast? He's not the Flash. No, that doesn't make sense to me. But magically, so here is Turner's plan, and so his plan is that he's going to set it up that Cale killed Ronnie because he was sending messages to his girlfriend, to Ashley. And then he slit his mother's throat because she wouldn't stop blaming him for his father's death. And then what's going to happen with Cale? Is he going to... I think he said he's going to commit suicide, I guess. And Ashley's the only one left. And I'm sure she's going to say that Ronnie never sent her any messages. And even if Turner uses Ronnie's phone to send her messages, it's not going to mean anything because she didn't respond to them. And, like, he's going to have to send them all at once. And so it's going to look like Ronnie was stalking her. And she's, I don't know, his plan's not going to work out the way he thinks it's going to. He's probably going to have to move again anyway. That's going to look shady, but... Yeah. Well, Ashley comes over to save the day. And Cale knocks Turner over the banister, which he somehow fucking survived. Maybe he's Superman. I don't know. Even at least have a broken leg or something. He falls over the banister onto the stairs. No way. If he's surviving that, he's not in one piece. He's gonna have a broken leg or something. I don't know. So, he forgets about Ronnie because he runs downstairs. He says, call the cops. I'm going to run over and I'm going to save my mom. So he runs over, and of course the cops get called. It's the same cop. And this guy, he's like, yeah, I'll take care of it. Goes to eat his burger. When I take care of it, it means he's going to take his sweet time. So here's where I have the issue. So Kale goes in. He finds out where his mom is. He finds a secret area. Goes downstairs. Well, this is happening. The cop, Gutierrez, whatever, comes in. And Turner's right there. Turner comes up behind him. Breaks his neck. No. I understand that people might have wanted this character to die because of the way he's treating Kale. But that's not how this character should have had an ending. I feel like he should have shown up. Now, spoilers for the end here, but Turner dies. And that's another thing. Watching it this time, I'm like, why does he die? Why does he die? You know. Because if my thought process is Kale kills Turner. And now I only have his mom's word that that's what happened. For all we know, the cops could hear this and they take the word for it. But, you know, we saw everything that happened. But if we're in the cop's shoes, we didn't see what happened. For all we know as the cops, the mom is now protecting Kale. And they killed him off and corroborated Kale's story so Kale doesn't go to jail. And it just so happens that the cop involved, the one who is the cousin of the guy that Kale punched, he's dead now. So that kind of takes away all of Kale's troubles, right? Kale's not going to go to jail because it was Turner, right? And now this cop that was harassing him because it was his cousin that Kale punched, he's dead now, right? I mean, you have Ronnie, who was knocked unconscious. And he could tell you, hey, it was Turner, or it could have been Kale. And Kale's like, I'm gonna knock you unconscious, or pretend to be unconscious, and I'm sure I'll have a bruise, whatever. Be unconscious. When the cops show up, you say Turner hit you, something like that. Ashley's the only thing in here that would cause issues, but you know, real world thinking put into a movie like this is a little bit iffy. I feel like Turner should have been arrested, and it should have been that cop. I feel like that during the final fight between him and Kale, the cop comes in and realizes that Kale was telling the truth. He shoots the cop, He shoots Turner and arrests him. Then apologizes to Kale for treating him like that. Because he was telling the truth. And I would also have Kale apologize for hitting his teacher. I'm sorry I hit your cousin too. But in my defense, he shouldn't have been talking bad about my dad. Yeah, that's not. Cool. Some of that. But you just kill him off like that. It's like, oh, I bet the writers were like, oh, Christopher Landon wrote this, by the way. Everybody's like, oh, they're going to want to see this character die. But even then, neck break, neck breaks are an easy way out. Killing people for bloodless. It's PG-13, but still. But yeah, so Kale takes care of him. He kills him with garden shears, saves his mom. By the way, again, Turner can just teleport, I guess, because he's upstairs. He kills the cop. And then Kale goes down. Kale's already down there. He finds his mom. And then Turner's behind the mom. I'm like, how the hell did he get over there? He was just upstairs. That doesn't make any sense. He can teleport, apparently. Now, he's got Jason Voorhees from Part 8 teleportation powers. But no, he's let go for good behavior. Gets the ankle bracelet off. And He and Carly get the smoochie. Carlsbad, California. That's Fired Up. Same actress, different character. He and Ashley. Why did I just think of her character from Fired Up for some reason? I called her Sarah earlier. No. Ashley. They get the smooch, and then they're making out in his room, and Ronnie's there saying it's soon to be the most watched video on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. Then he zooms in real close. Now that I'm on YouTube, you don't want to zoom in real close, because if I had the video where I'm just like this, most watched video of my nose hairs apparently. You know, he zooms in, and by the way, you can't zoom in. Well, he has a camcorder, so maybe, but like on a phone, I'm recording. Oh, I can zoom in. I just can't do it this way. Yeah, no. Okay, but yeah, I'm gonna say it's pretty good. I have my issues, but overall, I can have fun with this movie. I can. These issues are just like real world logic issues where you gotta turn your head up and say, oh, it's a movie. They're not gonna be logical about it, but there are some issues. But I have fun with this movie. I think it's pretty good, you know? So, what are your thoughts on Disturbia? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Also, if they went with my ending, where he was taken to prison, taken to jail, they could have done a sequel. Now, I don't know when they would have done that. He was doing his Transformer sequels, and after the third one is when his career kind of went downhill. Although he did do some other things afterwards, like Lawless or Peanut Butter Falcon, that sort of thing. But yeah, I don't know. They could have done a sequel. I don't know how it would have worked. It wouldn't have been the same format, because you wouldn't be put under house arrest again. Just doesn't make any sense. I don't know. Maybe in my version, he doesn't get the ankle bracelet off, and the next movie takes place. You could do like Rear Window. He's got 1 week left, and he's stuck there. And then Turner shows up, causing issues, problems, whatever. I don't know. It's just an idea. But probably never going to happen, because Shia LaBeouf's not in mainstream movies anymore. He's in here and there stuff, whatever. But, yeah. So what are your thoughts on Disturbia? Let me comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.